The to-do list, this ever-present, like inherently essential, but also like problematically annoying concept that we have to work against in our personal and professional lives. We all have different relationships with the to-do list, but we need to embrace it. We need to make it not just our friend, but our superpower. And we need to have a way to process it so that we can move through it and use it to our advantage. Okay. I call it the to-do list download, and that's literally just because the first step of my process to manage a to-do list is to download it out of your head. It's very hard to process logical information in your head, especially when you're stressed, high pressure, moving in a lot of directions. So we want to get it out of our head, download it onto paper. Once we've downloaded it onto paper, then we can process it accordingly and have control over it. So it's called the to-do list download, and it starts with step number one: download the to-do list out of your head. What this looks like is journaling. You sit down with pen and paper, and without judging any of the thoughts that come to you, without thinking about them, working on them, stressing about them, you write as many things as possible down that you could tell yourself you need to do. So the prompt is, what do I need to do? And how many pages can I fill? I want you to write everything from throw out that stroller in the back of the garage that's broken to pay the electrical bill that was due yesterday. I want you to write everything that crosses your mind as frivolous, tiny, humongous, right? Like define a 5-year plan all the way down to like mail that letter by the door. I want you to download it out of your head because when it's in your head, and I'll spare you the psychology and neurology speech here, it causes pressure. It just causes pressure because our brain is putting resources into reminding us to do it. That feels like nagging. That feels like letting ourselves down. It feels like chaos. So we have to get it out of our head to relieve the pressure. The first and arguably most important element of the to-do list download is to reduce mental pressure. When we've reduced our mental pressure, we can think more clearly, we can move more efficiently, and we can get back to getting things done, even if you do nothing else with the to-do list download. That's why it's arguably the most important. Because if you relieve the mental pressure, and then when you look at the to-do list download, you don't even process it. You just get up and start getting things done, then it's done its job. Most of us, however, need more steps though. So here's how we proceed with processing the to-do list download. Once you have it all down, first of all, take a step away from it. Go refill your coffee, step outside, let that mental pressure fully dissipate. Okay, now like turn on the TV or the music or something, make it a little bit more of an enjoyable experience, and then grab a highlighter. Okay, there are going to be a few elements to this, and yes, they are color coded. And the highlighter is the first element. We are going to go through the to-do list download. And again, this is still no judgment, no stress. This is just a task we're doing, which feels good to do. We're going to take this highlighter and highlight anything that we should be doing right now instead of this silly exercise. We're going to let our intuition point us to things, gosh, I should be doing that right now. We've got a situation with AT&T, the bill isn't quite right. We tried to switch to a new service, but it didn't go smoothly. I should really be on the phone with AT&T right now. I really should. I'm choosing to be here instead, but the pressure is on me with the AT&T bill. It has an urgency and it's really weighing on me that I should be doing it right now, right? So that's a now item. I should be doing this right now. Go ahead and highlight anything that feels that way. I should really be doing this instead of recording this video. Now we're going to switch to a red pen and we're going to write a circle next to the highlighted item, a literal to-do list circle so that we can check it off when it's done. Once we've put a circle next to everything highlighted, our nows, we're going to look through the list and add a red circle next to anything that almost got a now or is going to need to happen next. As soon as your nows are done, your kind of like urgent items, what needs to happen next? These are things that we could get them done by the end of today. They should really be touched by tomorrow. They really have to happen next. They're going to get red circles, but not highlighted. So our nows have highlighter and a red circle. Our nexts only have a red circle. Now here's one of my favorite parts. The third element that we're going to mark here are things with a deadline. I do not do false fake deadlines. We do not make up deadlines in this process because they mess with our head and then we can't see a real deadline when we have it. So I don't mean, I hope I have this done by Wednesday. That's not a deadline, that's a desire. Instead, a deadline is something with a consequence. If I don't do this by this date, there is a late fee or there is a problem. Okay. So deadlines are things with consequences, consequential deadlines. Instead of writing a circle, you've still got your red pen. Next to anything with a consequential deadline, I want you to write the date in red pen where a circle would be. So now you've got highlights with a circle, you've got regular lines with a red circle, and you've got lines with a date written in red. If only consequential deadlines are written in red, now we can see them. They stand out and they matter. At this point, you may have an item that is highlighted, has a red circle and a date. Great, mark it all up, red flag it all day. You'll know what to do as soon as you stop this exercise, right? Okay, those are the 3 red pen elements. Nows, nexts, and consequential deadlines. Now we're going to switch to a green pen. Green is for things that grow. Green is for things that produce cash, okay? Green is for things that make a difference. We are going to put a triangle, a delta sign for change, for difference making, next to anything that if we actually worked on it would make a difference in our life or business. It is amazing how many things on our to-do list would make a difference if we did them, but they're not urgent. They don't get red pen. They don't have consequential do lines. And so they often get overlooked or just get left on the to-do list indefinitely. So we want to put a green triangle next to anything that would make a difference if we did it. All right. You don't have to overstress this one and define what is a difference. You can just feel it. Again, this can be intuitive. This can just be like, yeah, that would make a difference. All right. Now, there are going to be plenty of items on your list that didn't get marked. That's fine, but we're not going to focus on those. We downloaded them out of our head. The mental pressure is lowered. They're captured. Okay, we have them here. If they elevate to difference makers or to nows and next or consequential due dates, we can pluck them off the list, pick them off the list, and do them. But right now we have other things to focus on. So what we're going to do is switch to a Post-it. I like the Post-it that's like this size, so not the little ones, but room to write. And I buy the ones that are lined. They have 9 lines giving you 10 spaces. So like a mid-sized Post-it, like about the size of a coffee mug. Again, you can do this however you want, but this is how I do it. I do this so it's size restricted on purpose because now we're at the to-do list upload stage. What we did was downloaded it and then processed it. All the color coding is processing it. Now we're going to upload onto a Post-it what we actually want to start with. All right. We're going to have a Post-it for things with red ink. That's your nows, next, and consequential deadlines. And you can't put more than fits on one Post-it because we've got to have a way to prioritize what we're starting with. We're only going to upload one Post-it worth quantity. Then we have a second Post-it though that's green ink only. Now we're going to upload things that would make a difference if we did them. Now, don't get me wrong. When I make these 2 Post-its and I put them on that kind of sit at a reception desk, so there's a wall behind me that I can put Post-its on. I put my red Post-it up and I do start with it. But my goal is to get to the green Post-it. Like I want to get through the red stuff first because it feels amazing. I love checking those things off. I got the nows, I got the next. I avoided my consequential due date, deadline, and I get to go to the greens. Now, if one of the greens is like really chirping at you and you want to go and start with it and it's going to make a difference, again, follow your intuition here. But we're not going to lose them at the bottom of the to-do list download. They've been uploaded and they've made it onto that Post-it and they're going to sit there. And what's going to happen is as you do this regularly and you do a fresh to-do list download for 2 reasons. One, the mental pressure is built up again and you've lost clarity and focus, or because you've done enough of them that you need a fresh one. Now, if you finish your Post-it in one day and the next day the mental pressure hasn't built up and there's still things on your to-do list that you need to do, you don't have to do a new one, you just upload more. You can go shopping on your list and upload more. Okay. I do recommend that when you're finished with your downloads, you file them all in one location. There is more to this process that we'll talk about in a separate video that we're going to use prior to-do list downloads for. And that gives us some spatial awareness and we can look back, we can see patterns, and then we can build preventative measures against those patterns. So save them, but work off your Post-its. Your red Post-it, your green Post-it, everything else can wait. And now we have clarity on what to do, as well as that reduced mental pressure. As always, if you need more detail, you can request a more in-depth video. If I hear that people need that, I will record it. And if you're in the mastermind, you can use your group or private time to bring up your own to-do list download and work with me on, get my support and clarification on. And if you're not in either of those things, you can always book an access coaching session to get my full attention so that I can show up and support you in this space. So enjoy the to-do list download.